Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section purpose is what is the deeper purpose of this connection and what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second, but I still have a different tarot deck I'll be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as the advice deck I will be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point of these readings is for you to take, absorb what helps your personal situation and just leave the rest. All right, Scorpio. Interesting reading, I feel. On your side of this connection, you have sacrifices must be made with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. The other card that came out with this was the Knight of Wands too. And I feel like I was going to take both, but I figured I'd just mention it. You've given a lot to this connection. And I feel as if a lot of sacrifices have been made on your part. But with the Six of Pentacles in reverse, it hasn't been reciprocated. Now, one of the things that is necessary for any healthy relationship is going to be sacrifice. You know, there's going to be a little bit of give that you're going to have to partake in. But usually in healthy relationships, every give equals kind of eventually, you know, a take. So it's reciprocated, right? You sacrifice a little, they sacrifice a little, and it kind of comes down to that equal partnership. Now, in this connection, doesn't really feel like that's much of the case. It feels as if there's been a lot of sacrificing coming from you, as if you're kind of putting it all out there, maybe putting your heart on the line, your soul on the line, you know, kind of bearing yourself, you know, open and ready for this connection, and just not receiving that same kind of commitment or energy or effort back. Now, this person has lies and partial truths with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Now, with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like this is a lack of commitment on their side. And I don't feel as if they're being very honest about why they're not committing, because that's ultimately what I feel is coming from your end, is you're seeing this lack of commitment, and so you're actually giving more. You know, you're saying, maybe if I do more, or if I show up more, if I love this person more, if I, you know, maybe then eventually they'll reciprocate. But it kind of feels like they're not being fully honest about why there isn't commitment here. Now, the overall theme of the reading is truth, which to me means that there's a truth that needs to be uncovered, a deeper truth that needs to be uncovered here, which I'm hoping that we can pull to the surface in this reading. But, you know, even if you and this person are married or like have been together for a really long time, it just feels as if this person is not showing up in this connection in an equal way that you are, and that and their reasoning behind that, it doesn't feel like they're being totally honest about. So we'll see kind of what we see when we get into tarot. Now, the truth of this connection is unresolved issues with the Hierophant here. So to be honest, I could take this message in a lot of different ways. It could be unresolved issues from each of your individual pasts coming up in this connection and kind of creating chaos, or unresolved issues within the connection are kind of not being, well, I guess not being resolved, which makes them unresolved, which is creating conflict here, or an inability for things to come together in a peaceful way. Now, the Hierophant is kind of it's a card of wisdom, of higher knowledge, of higher perspective, and I don't know necessarily how this higher perspective is necessary, but I do very much feel as if making the best decision in this connection is going to require you coming from like a higher place of wisdom and perspective, which I feel is directly connected to this truth. That might have been confusing, but bear with me during the reading because I feel like we'll get a lot more clarity on that as we dive into tarot. So let's see. Let's start, Scorpio. With your side of this connection, sacrifices must be made with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. This is Scorpio's side of the connection to the person they're dealing with. Scorpio's side of this connection. Four of Cups in reverse. Oh, look at that. There's the Hierophant. So there's a perspective shift that's needed here, because with the Four of Cups in reverse, it's so interesting because it's almost like the main message is that there's a deeper message or like a deeper purpose here. The Four of Pentacles in reverse is this energy of feeling, maybe it could very much feel as if you kind of got the rug ripped out from underneath you in this connection, or as if maybe you like kind of expected things to go a certain way and maybe we're a little bit blindsided by this person's actions or behavior or decisions. But it's interesting because it's almost like the universe wants you to know that this has actually very much happened for the better. But I don't know if you really feel that way or not yet. But yeah, there's definitely, this Hierophant coming out twice already. There's something here. Okay, I'm going to keep going. This is Scorpio's side of the connection. Something here for you, Scorpio. What does Scorpio... The Nine of Wands reversed with the Ten of Pentacles. See, I feel when you look at this connection, you feel as if this person has the potential to be like everything you've ever wanted. Now, maybe that's how it felt in the beginning. And so that might be why you were willing to sacrifice and give so much to this, is because you were like, wow, this connection has so much potential. This person and I almost like a dream come true kind of experience. But then the Nine of Wands in reverse, it feels as if you've always been held back from that potential. Not you necessarily, but it's almost as if in this connection that potential could never quite be realized, and I feel like it has to do with this person's lack of commitment. So it feels as if there's always been something blocking you and this person from being able to come together in a healthy manner. Again, even if you're married or have been together for a long time, because a lot of time external commitment doesn't necessarily reflect emotional commitment. And it feels as if there's kind of this distance in between these two energies. Again, it's almost like you feel as if there's always something in between you, or if there's always a problem or an issue or a something that's keeping this connection from coming together in a smooth way. But the universe is trying to tell you through this reading and through the Hierophant and this Truth card that this is actually a good thing. Which you might be like, how the hell is it a good thing? I really love this person. I care about this person. I want this to work. But there's more to it than meets the eye. Scorpio's side of the connection. The Justice, Three of Cups, the Tower, Justice, Three of Cups, and Tower. It's like expectation versus reality. It's like you had this this expectation and this connection of like peace and harmony, and again, this kind of feels like that potential that you see. Like you see what this connection could be if this person would just commit, or if they would, whatever. We'll see. We're going to pull 3 for you. Well, this is the 3rd message, but then we're going to pull 3 for them, and then we'll kind of jump back and forth. So 6 messages for each person total. So we'll get to them in a second, which I feel will help us kind of put together the story. But on your side here, it feels like really this 3 of Cups. It just kind of feels like that's the expectation, this peace, this harmony, this like goodness that could exist. But then what's actually happening is the Tower. The Tower, this feels like this keeps repeating in this connection too, almost as if, yeah, it's like you had this expectation of the connection, and things just are, I don't know if it's necessarily going the opposite way, or if it just feels like, the best analogy I can come up with is like running into a brick wall over and over again. Like you just feel like you're like, come on. And maybe that brick wall is their wall. Like you're trying to break down this wall because you know that if there wasn't this wall, you guys could kind of, there would be harmony here. But this person has this wall built up so much that you're trying to break down this wall, but you're getting hurt in the process of that. And that's what you feel is holding you back. Like even in this card, in this 9 of Wands, like this could be, this is obviously isn't a brick wall, but it's kind of like this is this wall between the connection. And I feel like it's coming from this person's side of things with their lack of commitment. But let's see here. I kind of wish I would have taken a Tower actually. But maybe I wasn't supposed to. Maybe it's supposed to come out again for a different message. But let's see. What does this person have going on? What does Scorpio need to know regarding this person? Wise and partial truths with the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. Oops. This person's energy toward Scorpio. Whoa, okay. Okay. This connection, for some reason, strikes a lot of fear in this person. Now, I also feel like this moon represents their shadow self. Now, if you're not familiar with the concept of a shadow self, it's basically that unhealed, triggered version of ourself that we spend the majority of our life unaware of until we have kind of a spiritual or personal awakening that leads us to start to understand ourselves a little bit deeper. It's kind of that, it's that part of ourself that is kind of hidden in our subconscious. And one of the things I talk about a lot on this channel is how 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions actually stem from our subconscious patterns. Only 5% of the way that we interact with our reality is actually conscious decision making. So if 95% of our decisions are coming from our subconscious and we're unaware of the patterns that lie in our subconscious, well then we're not really in control of our reality. And, you know, especially if in your subconscious you have kind of fear of being vulnerable, of being loved, of being accepted, or whatever the case might be, you know, you're going to push people away. You're going to push away people that make you start to feel those things, because it's easier to push away than to open up to the possibility of getting hurt. That's what this person's doing. Is they have this fear, this deep-seated fear that's being brought to the surface through this connection. And it's causing them to kind of sabotage this connection by pushing it away. There's definitely a lack of vulnerability here. Like, they're not being open, they're not being honest, they're not being upfront about how they feel. Now, most of the time, an individual's lack of vulnerability deeply comes from their lack of understanding their own emotions. You know, we want people to be honest with us about what they're thinking and what they're feeling, and The thing is people can't do that until they're honest with themselves first. And a lot of times we don't realize how much other people's lack of vulnerability toward us is actually their lack of like self-understanding, self-awareness being projected into the situation. So basically what I'm getting at with this is it kind of feels like this person's afraid of commitment. Like they fear commitment. And so it almost feels like they come up with reasons as to why they can't. This person's energy towards Scorpio. And that's that brick wall. It's like, because there's the lack of healing. So here you are. See, you've got your eye on the prize here. I mean, you're showing up in their energy. You got your eye on the prize in this connection. You see what this could be. But they just won't seem to change, like to heal, to grow, to evolve, to change, to let that wall down. They just won't seem to break. It's like they won't let you in. And you keep trying to break down that brick wall. You keep trying. Maybe you brought your bulldozer, you brought everything you have, all the tools you have, and all the energy that you have to try to break down this wall. And it just feels like every time you make a crack, this person's already in the process of reinforcing their wall. And it just feels as if, yeah, it's like that wall is made of fear of opening up, of being vulnerable. Now that's going to come from somewhere, such as feeling unlovable, feeling not good enough for love, feeling undeserving of love, and all of those things are going to stem from their past experiences. And that's kind of what I was talking about, those subconscious patterns, those feelings of being unlovable, unworthy, undeserving. All of those things stem from experiences that we've had in the past with love that we've internalized as beliefs. Not being, if you've never experienced unconditional love before, and it shows up on your doorstep, and you haven't worked through any of the reasons or any of the ways through like believing that you're good enough for it, deserving, capable, all those things, you're gonna be freaking terrified of it because you're not gonna understand it. You're not gonna believe that someone can love you that way. And that's where a lot of people actually sabotage their ability to be loved, is because they don't believe that they're deserving of it. And I feel like that's a lot of what this person is doing. This person's energy towards Scorpio. Yeah, because there's that past. They have this past, this baggage, this burden from their past. And maybe it's one big one from childhood or from past experiences or something. This baggage. Now we're all adults here, or at least if you are watching my videos, you should be an adult. We all have baggage. We all have a past. We all have history. The thing is, in a healthy relationship, it's when both people are aware of their baggage, they're aware of their trauma, they're aware of their triggers, they're working through them and to not allow those things to control them. But if you're unaware of your trauma, if you're unaware of your baggage, if you're unaware of the ways that you sabotage yourself, you're gonna do those things without even a second thought, because there's a lack of awareness that it's even happening, and you're gonna justify it in some way. So you're gonna push love away, and you're gonna find reasons in your mind that there's something wrong with it or with you, and that's kind of what this person is doing. Now, I want to talk about what you have control over in this situation, because you obviously don't have control over this person's wall. You've tried to break down that wall. Scorpio's side of the connection to the person they're dealing with. This is for Scorpio's side of the connection. The Nine of Swords. Ten of Cups. Okay. So here's where the problem lies, Scorpio. You know how I talked in the beginning how, you kind of saw this person as like this dream come true. You see so much potential here. If this person would just break down their wall or let me break through or let me in, this could be so good. I could show them that they're lovable. I could make them feel safe. I could make them feel worthy and deserving, and I could show them what real love is, and blah, 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 blah. And because you see so much potential here, there's a part of you that deeply fears if this person's wall never comes down, that you're never going to have what it is that you deserve and love. So you've directly connected your ability to receive the love that you deserve and that you desire with this person breaking down their wall. You believe they are one and the same, which has created this attachment to this person's decisions, emotional awareness, all those things, and it's creating. So that's why I feel like you've given so much to this connection. You've over-sacrificed. You've spent so much energy trying to break down this wall because there's a part of you that thinks if that doesn't happen, if that wall doesn't come down, that you're never going to be loved in the way that you deserve and desire. There's one thing I can tell you, Scorpios. There is never one path for us to receive what it is that we're deserving of. Ever, ever, ever. In fact, the majority of the time, rejection is divine protection and redirection to what it is that we actually want, but we are unaware of that path. So we, kind of keep, again, running first into a brick wall, thinking that we have to break down that brick wall to get to where we're going, when in reality, there might be something better that's for you. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but I can tell you with 100% certainty that somebody else's inability to love, ability to love, capacity to love, does not determine your ability to be loved. Now, maybe in regard to that person, yes, but not in general. Scorpio's side of the connection, maybe that's the deeper truth you're needing to see here. Because again, remember, you're focused, you're focused on, there's a shift in perspective, and the shift in perspective is that you don't need this person to love you in order to be loved. Not being loved by this person doesn't mean you can't have the love you desire. It just means right now, the only path to that love that you desire, that you see, is through this person. But that doesn't mean it's the only path. I hope that makes sense. Okay, Scorpio's side of the connection. Yeah, limiting beliefs is what keeps you investing here, because I feel like because you think this is the only path, you're quite willing to give so much and do whatever it takes to make this work, even at the expense of your own well-being. Even though it is consistently hurting you to try to break down this person's wall. You're consistently getting injured emotionally, mentally, spiritually by trying to break down this wall, this barrier that this person has put up and is continuing to reinforce between this connection. And so you're committing, right? You've committed fully to trying to make this work here. And this person has not. And when we commit fully to someone, but they don't commit fully to us, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go, what's wrong with me? Why is this person not showing up for me in the way that I'm showing up for them? Why do they not see my value? Why am I not good enough? Am I not pretty enough? Am I not smart enough? Am I not attractive enough? Am I not successful enough? What is wrong with me? When in reality, other people's decisions don't have anything to do with you. Now remember, this connection, because of the intensity behind it, the love that you're showing up with, it literally scares this person. This person does not know how to handle it. Basically what I'm saying is they do not know how to accept love. Now, somebody can only give and receive love to the extent they love themselves first. So if you look at this from a big picture perspective, you are taking personally this person's limited capacity to love themselves, which has nothing to do with you. It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed to hurt. It doesn't mean that this isn't a very real and difficult and challenging experience. What it does mean is that there is a deeper purpose and a different perspective that the universe is asking you to have that doesn't have to do with you lacking value. Because I feel like, when you show up 100% with something and someone else doesn't do the same, you're going to think it means that you're not valued. When in reality, that's not true at all. It just means that this person doesn't have that capacity to love and value you in the way that you ultimately deserve, and the way that you have the capacity to love and value others. And you deserve someone who matches your capacity to love. And I feel like you know that, which is why this connection has been so challenging. Scorpio's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. There's some boundaries that are lacking here. Sometimes we fear that if we set a boundary, or if we stand up for ourselves, that's going to mean that the connection is going to fall apart. Or here's something that a lot of people get wrong about boundaries. Setting the boundary is hard. Yes, absolutely. Setting the boundary is important and it's difficult and it's a first step. But it's actually not the hardest part. The hardest part is if you are going to ask other people to respect your boundaries, you have to respect your own boundaries. You have to be willing to say, this is what I deserve. This is what I'm asking for. This is what I require in my relationships. If you cannot show up for that in that way, I am going to have to make the decision that is best for me. Okay? There's the boundary. You set the boundary. Say that the behavior continues. This person continues not to let you in. You continue to get emotionally damaged by the connection. You continue to fall into this hole of feeling like you're undervalued because of this person's lack of loving you. And you're not respecting your own boundary because you're not doing the things that you said you would do, such as creating distance between the connection, pulling back your energy, not overgiving, not over-sacrificing for the sake of bare minimum love. If you want this person or anybody to respect your boundaries, you have to be willing to respect your own. So there are boundaries that are absolutely needed here, but I feel like there's a fear associated with those boundaries because a part of you is saying, well, what if this person doesn't respect my boundaries? What if this person doesn't show up in the way that I'm requiring that they're asking them to show up? And my answer to that always is, that is the universe's way of telling you that that person is incapable of being what it is that you deserve. Meaning, rejection is divine protection and redirection. It's not easy in the moment, but there's always a bigger picture that we're unable to see when we're in these connections, in the emotions and the chemicals and the hormones of it all. All right, but let's see what else Scorpio needs to know regarding this person. This person's energy towards Scorpio. This person's energy towards Scorpio. See, they're stuck in this. That's so interesting. They're stuck in this cycle of pushing away the love that's good for them and only accepting the love that's bad for them. And their soul, they're tired, they're exhausted, they're worn out. They've built a lot of walls and they've put a lot of time and energy into building these walls. But they're going to continue to do that until they start to understand why they built these walls, or even that they build these walls. They might not even be aware of the fact that they're not allowing themselves to be loved. So many people struggle with that. I know for me, when I got into my current connection, healthiest relationship I've ever been in, I was looking all over the place for reasons to ruin this connection in the beginning. Now, luckily, I had done enough healing and had enough self-awareness to the point that I was able to recognize that that's what I was doing, so that I didn't, create conflict and push my partner away. But if we're unaware of it, which I had been in a lot of my relationships in the past, I had been very unaware of the ways that I pushed away love and sabotaged love, and therefore did it. And that's why when I do these readings, I have a lot of empathy for both parties, because I've been here and I've been here. But I also know that when you're on this side of things and you're unaware of your toxic traits, if you will, you're unaware of your habits, you're unaware of your patterns, and somebody keeps trying to show up to love you, it's not going to fix any of those problems that you have. No matter how much I had a partner in the past show up to love me, I was determined to sabotage it and push it away because I was so afraid of what that love would entail. But I've also been on this side where I've constantly been trying to get someone to see and open up. Now, I was here first, and then I was here, and then I feel like I finally found my middle ground and connections. But I get it. That's why I'm not saying this person is a bad person, but this person has baggage, and hurt people, and that's not an excuse to hurt people. That doesn't mean, you can love someone unconditionally and have empathy for the ways that they treat you, but that does not mean by any means that you have to accept and tolerate that kind of behavior and treatment. You don't have to bear the burden of this person's baggage. Their wall is not yours to break down. You can show up and knock on the door. Hello, I'm here to love you. I'm here to show up for you. I'm here to be a partner with you. If that person isn't going to open the door and let you in, it is not your job to break down that door. Now, the problem is a part of you thinks that if that door doesn't open or that wall doesn't come down, that you're not going to be loved, but that couldn't be further from the truth. That's the deeper truth that needs to be seen here. This person's energy towards Scorpio. So the Seven of Wands has a little bit of a different meaning than it did for you, because this was like boundaries. The way that I'm seeing it more in this card is the imagery. It's like this determination to push people away. Like all of these people here are actually showing up with like love and kindness and empathy and good things, and this person is like, get back. Now maybe you're all these, right? You're showing up with all of this, and this person's like, get it away from me. I'm scared of it. It's kind of like, not that I want to compare this person to a dog, but it's kind of like when you find like a stray dog or a stray cat or just a stray animal, and you have to, when you take that animal in, it doesn't understand that what you're doing for it is good, so it keeps trying to escape because it feels it's still in danger. But then you show that animal love. Not that this person is a stray animal, but it really is, when you're so used to not experiencing love and goodness in your life, and maybe this goes for both people, right? And it's just manifesting in different ways, and so there could be a mirror here, but when you're so used to not experiencing love and goodness in your life, you're going to run from it. You're going to push it away, or you're going to look for it in places that it doesn't exist, which you're either going to run from it or you're going to chase it, right? You're going to run from it or you're going to look for it in places it doesn't exist. All right, one more for this person's energy towards Scorpio. One more for this person's energy. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I just realized really quick, there's a lot of blue going on here. So throat chakra energy, this person definitely has like a blocked throat chakra. Their ability to speak their truth, be vulnerable, be authentic, be honest, maybe wear a mask, show up as someone that they're not in the connection in the beginning, to maybe that's what happened. They showed up as someone that they're not in the beginning, and you were like, oh wow, this is so great, this is so awesome, and then, that mask kind of started coming off. Not that it was necessarily a false representation of them, it could have been, but it was more a representation of their potential. But then that, that kind of started to come off, and you realize this person's not who they, once said that they were. Now they have this need for control. And here's the thing, anything that makes them feel out of control is going to freak them out. And right now, that's the love you have to show up with. This is crazy how much blue there is in these cards. I didn't even realize that was happening. Especially like with this truth card here. But anyway, anything that, is going, because that's the thing about love and genuine connections, is the foundation of those connections is trust and willingness to trust and let someone else in and give someone that access to yourself. But if you're not willing to do that, well then that's it's nobody's fault but your own, right? You can't love somebody into loving themselves, especially when it starts to hurt you, right? You can show up with unconditional love for someone else, but as soon as it starts to be damaging to yourself, which kind of like this has been, well, then you have to take a deeper look at what's going on here. So, all right, in between this connection, you have unresolved issues with the Hierophant. I'm going to pull 9 different messages, and then I have an advice card to pull at the very end. Thank you so much, Scorpio, as always, for your support of my channel. I obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Scorpio, I wish you absolutely nothing but love and healing and all of the good things on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Scorpio.